And at number 10, Damon Albarn. Musician Damon Albarn got together to collaborate on some tracks on Adele's 2015 album, 25, but unfortunately it did not go as planned, and the pair ended on pretty bad terms. He even said in the interview that he will never collaborate with Adele again. In an interview with The Sun at that time, Albarn said, quote, "Adele asked me to work with her and I took the time out for her. And I'm not a producer, so I don't know what is happening really. Will she use any of this stuff? I don't think so. Let's wait and see. The thing is, she's very insecure and she doesn't need to be. She's still so young." Albarn also described her new music as middle of the road. Following his interview, Adele clapped back, saying, quote, "It ended up being one of those don't meet your idol moments. The saddest thing was that I was such a big Blur fan growing up, but it was sad and I regret hanging out with him." Albarn later clarified in a different interview that his words were taken out of context and they were misinterpreted to sound mean. But that kind of seems like BS to me, and it's clear the pair did not like each other. And at number 9, Jamie Oliver. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver got in a strange feud with Adele after he made some comments about breastfeeding. Oliver spoke about the topic during a radio interview where he said, quote, "The UK has the worst breastfeeding in the world," and saying, quote, "It's easy, it's more convenient, it's more nutritious, it's better, it's free." But this did not sit well with Adele, and during a concert Adele responded saying, quote, "The pressure on us is effing ridiculous, and all those people who put pressure on us can go F yourselves, right? Because it's hard. Some of us can't do it." Following the comments, fans put 2 and 2 together, and Oliver got backlash for mansplaining a woman's issue. And at number 8, Matt Doran. Adele got into a feud with reporter Matt Doran after it was reported that she stormed out of their press interview for her new album once he admitted that he didn't listen to the album in full. Australia's Daily Telegraph revealed that Channel 7's Matt Doran came to London specifically for this 20 to 30 minute interview in an over $600,000 deal. Reportedly halfway through the interview, Adele noticed that he was struggling to express an opinion of his own, then she flat out asked if he had listened to the album. And when he said no, she walked off and ended the interview early. Sony later refused to allow footage of the interview to be used, and Doran was suspended for 2 weeks. This embarrassing blunder then went viral, with Adele fans roasting Doran online for days. However, Doran later exposed that the whole story was a lie and he was never kicked out of the interview. Rather, the conversation actually went overtime. Doran also stood by the contents of the interview and said he is, quote, "devastated that her fans are being denied this interview." And at number 7, Taylor Swift. This is another feud that we're not sure is real or not, but it seems there's been some shade thrown between these two singers for years. After Adele beat out Taylor for a Golden Globe in 2013, Adele made a bit of a shady dig when Adele jokingly said that she has a squad, but they aren't models, clearly taking a dig at Taylor's model squad. Then this year it was reported that Taylor Swift was furious that Adele might be stepping into pop music with her new album. A source said, quote, "Taylor Swift is not happy that Adele is apparently taking a new direction for her next album, because it means that she could be stealing her pop princess crown." Apparently, Swift is giving no help to Adele with this potential crossover either. The source added, quote, "Should this rivalry go public, it's going to get messy. It's probably best for Taylor to keep her copycat concerns to herself." And at number 6, Ernest Owens. Adele got major backlash after she posted a photo in Bantu knots to celebrate the UK's Notting Hill Carnival, and journalist Ernest Owens was one of the people who did not approve. In the UK, they celebrate something called the Notting Hill Carnival, where people will share their pride about being a British person with Caribbean descent. Adele shocked the world when she showed up wearing a Jamaican flag, print bikini, and Bantu knots in her hair, a style worn traditionally by Black women in the region. Her shocking 100-pound weight loss was easily overshadowed by the backlash that she received, with people calling the move cultural appropriation. After waves of backlash, she told British Vogue, quote, "I didn't read the effing room." And in hindsight, she completely understands why the backlash occurred. Adele also decided to not take down the photo, a move which she says was to let people know she was not trying to brush it under the rug. Owens tweeted at the time, quote, "If 2020 couldn't get any more bizarre, Adele is giving us Bantu knots and cultural appropriation that nobody asked for. This officially marks all of the top white women in pop as problematic. Hate to see it." Halfway number 5, Beyonce. Since Adele took home Album of the Year at the 2017 Grammys, fans are convinced that Beyonce and Adele do not like each other, mainly because they are very competitive. After Adele won in 2017 instead of Beyonce, fans were really fed up and claimed that Adele was somewhat patronizing in her acceptance speech. On that night, Adele won all 5 of the awards she was nominated for, while Beyonce only won 2 of 9 of her nominations. During her speech, Adele made sure to shout out Beyonce and say that she believed Beyonce deserved the award more. Although some fans found the moment completely genuine and heartfelt, many did not. Some fans claim that if Adele really felt that way, she should have invited Beyonce on stage to say her acceptance speech with her. Some Beyonce fans even claim that Adele could have just denied the award and forced the Grammys to give it to Beyonce. One fan tweeted after the show, quote, "Even Adele admitted that Beyonce should have won Album of the Year." Many Beyonce fans think that she did not appreciate being put on blast, and the whole thing made Adele look like a white woman's savior. And at number 4, Peppa Pig. Easily the strangest beef Adele has been in was with Peppa Pig. In an Instagram Live where Adele was promoting her upcoming album 30, a fan asked if she would ever collaborate with Peppa, and Adele savagely said no. Then later on during an interview with Capital FM, Adele was confronted by Peppa, who called her out for the comments. The interviewers asked Adele about her comments, then showed a clip of a cartoon Peppa saying, quote, "Hello Adele, that made me really sad when you said you wouldn't collaborate with me. Why not? Don't you like me?" Adele was obviously shocked and responded, quote, "But Peppa, I regret it. I spent 3 years watching you. I really regret any time you want to go jumping in muddy puddles and sing Muddy Muddles. I'm with you, babes. I felt terrible the second I said it." So thankfully that beef was cleared up. And at number 3, Bruno Mars. Singer and producer Bruno Mars had some eyebrow-raising things to say about Adele after they collaborated on her song All I Ask. He of course sang her praises for her amazing talent, but he also made sure to include that she can be a bit of a diva. He said in the interview, quote, "She's a superstar. She walks into the studio, she's got all this attitude, she's a diva, and she's like, I don't want to do this, I don't like that." Then as soon as we hit a couple chords that she liked, we started rolling, and that's where we got that song from. But of course he praised how talented that she is, saying that there is a moment that she was in the booth singing when the water started to vibrate. And of course he would love to work with her again. He said he's just waiting for her to call on him again. It's unclear if he meant that she was a diva in an endearing way, or if he meant to throw some shade her way. And at number 2, Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is known for his controversial opinions on news and pop culture, and his stances on Adele have gotten him in hot water. In November, Piers published a scathing rant against Adele and her decision to include her son on her latest album 30, claiming that she shared her son's heartache and pain to promote the last album. Morgan claimed it was hypocritical because Adele had fought for her son's privacy in the past. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "Sorry Adele, you're a great singer, but sharing your young son's heartache and pain with the entire world to flog your album is shameful and the rankest hypocrisy." Morgan claimed that Adele asked for privacy when it comes to her separation and other personal matters, but then she turns around and exposes those intimate details when it serves her to promote and sell albums. In his article, Morgan wrote, quote, "All this hypocrisy is par for the course with today's oversharing celebrities who love to reveal every prudent detail of their lives for commercial gain while simultaneously demanding privacy," adding, quote, "This is the same Adele who went to court to protect her son's privacy when he was just 1, winning him a substantial 5-figure sum in damages over paparazzi photographs." And finally, number 1, Simon Konecki. I'm sure that Adele's ex-husband does not hate her, but I'm sure he's not pleased with some of the things that she shared about their marriage in the press or on her latest album. In September of 2019, Adele filed for divorce from Konecki. When speaking about the marriage, she told Vogue, quote, "I was just going through the motions and I wasn't happy. Neither of us did anything wrong, neither of us hurt each other or anything like that. It was just, I want my son to see me really in love and be loved. It's really important to me." Then when she approached her 30s, she felt she wanted more out of life than what she had at the time. The divorce was hardest for her 9-year-old son, Angelo. Adele added, quote, "He had so many simple questions for me that I can't answer because I don't know the answer." Adele also shared that she thinks her son might hate her for her decision later in life.
At number 5, Nick Jonas. Now, even though Nick is part of the Jonas Brothers, he did, in a way, warn their fans about the band. As you will probably recall, the band was together back in the 2000s when they were on the Disney Channel, but the band ended up breaking up back in 2013. At the time, a lot of fans were curious as to why they split. I mean, they were brothers after all, so what happened? Well, Nick ended up sharing some details about what happened, the drama and conflict included in their falling out, and warned fans about what things were like for them behind the scenes. In an interview with Wonderland magazine, Nick shared that the pressures that were put on the band were causing the boys to become emotionally strained, and this started causing tension in the family. Elaborating on this, Nick told the magazine, quote, "There was definitely a strain emotionally that was being put on all of us. We had such a specific way of doing things for so long, and I think as we got older, we tried to progress artistically. We got stuck in those old ways, so our music suffered and our their general vibe with each other and ability to communicate in a healthy way no longer existed. Nick was actually the one who pitched the idea that the band break up, and this also caused some tension within the band, but Nick felt as though this was necessary in order to save their relationship as brothers. In a way, he warned fans about what life was really like for the brothers and how their careers had taken such a huge toll on their personal lives. No one really saw this breakup coming, but after this interview, it made so much more sense. Luckily for fans though, Nick was also the one who got the band back together so we could relive the good times from their career and also grow with them too. At number 4, Portugal The Man. When the Jonas Brothers got back together, there was a lot of buzz from fans and in Hollywood. The Jo Bros had returned and they dropped a banger to make their comeback, a song called Sucker. Though it was a huge hit, the song also ended up causing a bit of a scandal because they were accused of stealing the song from another group, a band called Portugal The Man. The song that the Jonas Brothers were accused of stealing was the song Feel It Still by Portugal The Man, which, side note, is a very good song. Anyways, there is a mashup online of both Sucker and Feel It Still that shows just how similar they are, and I have to say it's a little scary. Sucker just sounds like a sped up version of Feel It Still. When this scandal came out, fans on Twitter were talking about the song's similarities, accusing the Jonas Brothers of plagiarism and making memes about it. Though Portugal The Man came out and said that they weren't mad at the Jo Bros and that they had no problem with their song Sucker, this little scandal kind of warned fans about the brothers' content and how they create it. No one really knows if this whole thing was deliberate or just a coincidence, but it did sort of set a tone for the brothers' reunion, and starting off with a scandal certainly wasn't great. Before we carry on talking about the people who tried to expose the Jonas Brothers and reveal their true nature to their fans, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 3, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas were once very close. They had worked together while on the Disney Channel, Demi had dated Joe Jonas for a while, and they were just the best of friends. But all of a sudden they sort of broke up, and this may have served as a warning to fans about the potential drama between Demi and Nick. The two of them had a pretty good friendship, so no one noticed when things became strained. There have been reports saying that they haven't spoken since 2017 because they had a falling out. In 2018, fans noticed that Nick and Demi had unfollowed each other on social media, but things really came to a head when it came time for Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra's wedding. Apparently, Demi wasn't invited to the wedding, and this really affected them. When news started coming out about Nick and Priyanka's wedding, many fans just assumed that Demi wasn't attending the wedding because they weren't up to partying, especially since at the time Demi had just been hospitalized, but it turns out that Demi just was not invited to begin with. Sources close to Demi said that they were devastated to not have been invited to Nick's wedding, saying that their heart was broken after that. We don't really know where the two of them stand anymore, and last we've heard, they just aren't speaking to each other anymore. Maybe one day we will see them rekindle their friendship, or perhaps they just aren't meant to be in each other's lives. This falling out could be a warning to fans about the Jonas Brothers because something clearly had to have happened for this falling out to have occurred, so maybe there was some beef and toxicity that fans just weren't aware of. At number 2, Taylor Swift and Gigi Hadid. Speaking of falling out, we have to talk about Joe Jonas's relationship drama and how this could have served as a warning about how Joe is in relationships. I mean, after learning about this drama with Taylor and Gigi Hadid, you can definitely see that Joe has grown a lot since this all unfolded, so this is more so a warning about how Joe used to be. Anyways, as some of you might recall, Joe Jonas and Taylor Swift dated for a hot minute back in the day, but things ended up getting a little messy and caused some drama between a handful of people. When Joe and Taylor dated, the breakup didn't really go well because Taylor was dumped over the phone in a call that lasted less than 30 seconds. Ouch. This ended up working pretty well for fans because, as we all know, Taylor channels all of her feelings into her music, and that breakup music always hits. Fast forward a few years to when Joe dated Gigi Hadid. This relationship happened just before she got with Zayn Malik, and clearly things did not end well for Joe either. This time, Gigi was the one to break things off, and Joe did not take it very well because he ended up writing a revenge song about it for his band DNCE. Joe's actions in his past relationships could have served as a warning about how he is in relationships and during breakups. The way he handled all of this could sort of come across as cold, which doesn't really paint Joe as a very nice guy, but as I've said before, Joe has certainly grown since then, since he's now a husband and father. And finally, at number 1, Frankie Jonas. Now, last Last on our list, let's talk about the youngest Jonas brother, Frankie Jonas. Though he wasn't part of the band, he did have a minor amount of fame, but nowhere near the level of fame that his older brothers have. For years, Frankie was known to fans as the Bonus Jonas, and though it has a catchy name, Frankie never liked being called that. The fact that the band gave their brother this name and called him that so often could have served as a warning that the brothers might not be as nice as they seem. Frankie was often compared to his brothers as a kid, and since his brothers were so famous, people kind of bullied Frankie for not being as good or as talented as the other Jonas brothers. Frankie opened up about how the Bonus Jonas moniker affected him growing up, saying that it took a toll on him. In an interview with Bustle, Frankie told sources, quote, "It became a form of self-harm to look at these things. It became essentially an OCD, like a tic. I couldn't stop. I checked it every day, and I had to feel okay in a way. It became a serious issue for me. A lot of that perpetrated the idea that I was just this meme. I was this joke, and my entire identity to people was adjacent, which really affected myself and the way that I thought about the world and the way I thought about myself." End quote. Although his brother Joe has said that he refuses to call Frankie the Bonus Jonas after learning about how this makes his little brother feel, they also never publicly defended their brother either. Frankie is now a star in his own right, having blown up on TikTok, but he did it without the help of his brothers. You would think that the band would have stood up for their brother more, and the fact that they let so much slide shows that maybe they just didn't care enough.
First up, Ciara. Ciara and Rihanna got into a super shady feud after Ciara shared a bad experience that she had with Rihanna in 2011. While on E's Fashion Police, Ciara decided to take the opportunity to throw some shade. She said, quote, "I ran into Rihanna recently at a party and she wasn't the nicest. And it's crazy because I've always loved and respected what she's done with fashion, and I've ran into her, before, but this time it wasn't the most pleasant run-in." Many were shocked to hear this because Rihanna is known to be down to earth and humble. Rihanna did not take kindly to the call out and clapped back on Twitter, writing, quote, "My bad, C, did I forget to tip you? Hashtag how rude of me." The two exchanged some more shade. Ciara warned Rhea that she did not want to see her on or off the stage, and Rihanna wished her luck with booking that stage. In the end, Rihanna felt that she was in the wrong and ended the feud by apologizing. She wrote on Twitter, quote, "Ciara baby, I love you girl, you hurt my feelings really bad on TV, I'm heartbroken, that's why I retaliated this way. So sorry, hashtag let's make up." Ciara also responded by praising Rihanna and being thankful that they could put the feud behind them. Next up, Karrueche Tran. Karrueche Tran was the person that Chris Brown started dating after his relationship with Rihanna ended. Rihanna and Chris were the Hollywood it couple for some time, until Chris Brown physically Rihanna and they split. But after their split, it seemed that Rihanna did not have an easy time getting over Chris, and posted a super shady dig towards Tran as a way to take out her anger. In 2012, she shared a photo of a bag of rice cakes with sunglasses and hoop earrings. Rihanna wrote in the caption, quote, "I'ma make you my bitch," which is a reference to her and Brown's song Birthday Cake. This was said to be a dig at Tran, specifically the fact that Rihanna used rice cakes was thought to be a dig at Tran's Vietnamese heritage. In a now deleted Facebook post, Tran said, quote, "I'm Angelina, you're Jen. Come on, you see where Brad is at." When speaking about the relationship years later, Tran said, quote, "In this case, my boyfriend is a celebrity whose ex-girlfriend is an even bigger celebrity. So not only am I fighting a battle with her, I'm fighting a battle with her 14 million fans or whomever else." Charlie Sheen. This is one I'm sure you did not expect. But in 2014, Rihanna got into a public feud with Charlie Sheen of all people. Apparently they had a bad interaction, and she decided to rant about it on social media. In 2014, Charlie Sheen ran into Rihanna at a restaurant and wanted to introduce the singer to his then fiancé. However, Rihanna turned him down, and Sheen went on Twitter later to rant about the situation, writing, quote, "I sent a request over to her table to introduce my fiancé Scotty to her, as she is a huge fan. Personally, I couldn't pick her out of a lineup at gunpoint. Well, the word we received back was that there were too many pops outside and it just wasn't possible at that time." Sheen continued that there's no way they could possibly reschedule another random encounter like that, and that the whole thing was rude and unnecessary. Rihanna clapped back a few days later in a tweet, writing, quote, "If that old queen don't get her diapers out of a bunch." Sheen ended up apologizing to Rihanna a few years later on Twitter, but Rihanna did not publicly respond. TLC's Chili and T-Boz. Two members of the musical group TLC found themselves in a heated feud with Rihanna in 2014 when they called her out for the way that she dresses. While speaking to Australia's Sunrise, they said, quote, "Every time I see you, you don't have to be naked. And it's hard for us to say anything because every time we say something, oh TLC, oh they must be jealous. "We became the biggest selling girl group of all time with our clothes on. That says a lot, it's easy to sell sex." Rihanna didn't clap back by writing a shady tweet like she usually would. Instead, she decided to change up her header on Twitter to show a scantily clad picture of TLC. Even though no words were said, it was clear that she was calling out the group for being hypocritical. The photo showcase was from the group's 94 Vibe photo shoot. After the feud got tons of press in the media, presumably more than they expected, the group said their comment was not directed at Rihanna and that was just edited out of context. Next up, Amanda Bynes. Another strange feud Rihanna was involved in was with actress Amanda Bynes. And even though some say Rihanna was out of line during this feud, it was definitely started by Bynes. In 2013, Bynes was not doing well and was often under the influence. After Bynes went on a racially charged Twitter rant about Chris Brown and Rihanna's relationship, Rihanna did not want to hold her tongue anymore and decided to clap back. Rihanna tweeted, quote, "You see what happens when they cancel intervention." Some felt it was wrong of Rihanna to make fun of her mental health struggles, and that Amanda Bynes needed empathy and understanding during this time. What do you guys think below? The Navy. If you didn't already know, Rihanna's fans are known as the Navy, and sadly Rihanna's witty comebacks are not only at other celebrities, they have been occasionally directed at her own fans. After years without an album, Rihanna said that she would be coming back with a new album in 2019. But as 2019 passed and no announcement of an album took place, Rihanna's fans got angry. Out of love, of course, because they just want to hear her new music. But Rihanna does not like being called out, even by her fans. In July of 2019, she shared a video clip from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Reality star Carly Red shares the results of a lie detector test and says, quote, "Guys, it was all a lie." In the caption of this post, Rihanna made it clear that it was for her fans, the Navy. According to People, when one fan responded with, "I can't believe I stand a liar," Rihanna clapped back with 3 laughing emojis, clearly not caring. Teyana Taylor. Teyana Taylor and Rihanna got into a seriously nasty feud in 2013. It started when Teyana posted a video of herself on Instagram singing "Caught Up in the Rapture." Then a month later, Rihanna posted an Instagram video of her hairstylist singing the same song while dressed like Taylor. Kinda strange, right? Taylor immediately clapped back and wrote in a tweet, quote, "Don't play with me, Rihanna. F all this industry crap. You and I know each other very well. Throwing subs for what? You got my number, don't show off." Taylor then denounced all of Rihanna's fans that started to attack her online. Rihanna responded by tweeting, quote, "You will not get an ad from me. Not till you pay me. No more free promo. #I refuse." Rihanna also changed her Twitter background, showing her net worth at the time, which was $90 million, compared to Taylor's, which was $500,000. Teyana Taylor responded by photoshopping her face on a boxer punching Rihanna. And in the end, she was the loser of this battle because Adidas dropped her from their campaigns after she threatened Rihanna with violence. And finally, Rihanna herself. Over the years she's been in the spotlight, Rihanna has done some really shady stuff that might make her fans think differently of her. One thing that Rihanna has been accused of is being a major diva. Specifically, when she's said to perform, her green room requests are insane. According to a 2016 Business Insider report, the requests include covering the walls with dark blue or black drapes, trimmed in icy blue chiffon, and a large plush animal print rug. The backstage area must be a relaxed atmosphere, and she's very particular about what scents are used. Business Insider reported that the Barbados beauty needed exactly 6 Black Forest candles when she performs. She also demands flowers, usually white tulips. Keep in mind this is all for just one single appearance. That's not all. Apparently she's also really bad with spending, and even sued her accountants because she blamed them for going broke. While she was on her Last Girl on Earth tour in 2010, she apparently made tons of lavish demands that made her tour lose money. According to Page 6, she filed a lawsuit in 2012 claiming it was her accounting firm's negligence that prompted a costly IRS audit of her returns, and that she lost millions during the tour because the firm failed to reconcile costs versus revenues while still paying itself millions in fees. Specifically, the firm let her buy a nearly $7 million LA mansion, even though she was losing money like crazy. After she bought this property, she learned it needed tons of renovations and was forced to sell it at a loss. One of the accountants said a completely different story and said that Rihanna was out of control with her spending. They said, quote, "The tour was what she wanted, just as the exorbitant amount of expensive clothing and other purchases she squandered her money on were. Was it really necessary to tell her that if you spend money for those things, you will end up with things and not money?" In the end, the judge agreed with Rihanna, and her and the legal firm reached a settlement of $10 million over the debacle.